This episode of the Jaguar Football Podcast is brought to you by Lorenzos Tacos and Burritos, located at 1841 Old State Route 21, addicted to tacos. Hi everyone, I'm Carl Bierock. Welcome to episode 7 of our Jaguar Football Podcast. It is week 1. We are just days away from playing Parkway West. And of course, as always with us is the head coach of the Seckman Jaguar football team, Dr. Nicholas Baer. Coach Baer, thank you so much for burning a little midnight oil with us as we record this podcast a little bit off schedule, but huge week. This is what you and your staff and the boys have been waiting for and been practicing and doing all that great things in the off season we've been highlighting. We're just a few practices away.
Yeah, it's week 1. All the emails, the practices, the weightlifting sessions, events, you name it. Now it's time for football. So the coaches are excited, the boys are excited, and we've got about 4 more days to get ready.
Yeah, and speaking of which, you gave us an update for the parents via email this evening, talking about the condition of the field, and things are looking good, perhaps for week 2. But all in all, I mean, we had a very, very busy weekend. Of course, we had the Dad's Donuts and Decals. Then we had the photo session for 185 players. And then we concluded with the mom's practice. Busy day in Jaguar football.
Yeah, I've been up at school a lot this weekend and had a lot of opportunity to look at the turf and, the turf update, fingers crossed. It's looking pretty good in my opinion. I'm not a turf expert. They're working hard. We got back from the Jamboree Friday night right about 9:30. They were working under the lights. Then, I got to school pretty early on Saturday morning with our donuts and decals, and those guys at 6 a.m. they were already there. And worked another full day. And then I showed up there this morning again for our coaches meeting, and they're out there rolling it out. And I mean, it's beautiful. I almost went out there and took a nap on it.
Wow.
No. And then, yesterday, kind of that last real opportunity for us to all kind of get together before the madness begins and share a little bit of the sport with parents and their players. And, Dad's Donuts and Decals, always a fun event. I've worked with some coaches that had the coaches put on the decals. So we'd collect all the helmets. We'd sit in the coach's office. We'd burn the midnight oil, and we'd all put decals on. So I guess a few of those nightmarish evenings are kind of born this Dad Donuts decal new tradition that we have. And it's a lot of fun. We ordered 350 donuts and we didn't have any left, that's for sure. We had a little crisis, too, with the donuts. I got a call on Friday from Harder's that the donut fryer was out. I thought, the machine's out? No, the person that fries the donuts. So they weren't actually sure if they were going to have our donuts in time, but, thankfully a miracle. The donut fryer. The donut fryer came to work and we had our donuts.
You're grateful for the little things, of course.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean the little things, the little phone calls, you never know, right?
Absolutely.
And then the decals look great. We have a lot of different helmets, a lot of different ways to put them on. I like to give dads a few trouble. Some of the decals look better than others, but that's all right. I did pick up a few extra screwdrivers, so if you brought a screwdriver and you didn't get to go home with it, let me know. I have it. So.
Good.
And then, the team photos, there's really no fast way to get those done, to organize a team photo of about 60 players at each level. Everybody get their individual photos. Ron and Lisa do a great job. And, I'll have more information out on the order form information. It's all online. So once I have that, I'll make sure to get it to the parents. But, I always like sharing that little bit of that little moment, the team pictures with the parents so they can kind of live that nightmare with me.
Well, you've been talking about it for the last, month and a half, and now we fully understand what you were talking about, that you prefer to coach rather than organizing 185 players to line up for pictures.
And I joke about it. It's not so bad. I like getting out there and giving the boys trouble. Just in the past, we've done it to where we try to do team photos and then have a practice afterwards. Yeah, right. So, I think it's really worked out the last 2 years, kind of putting all three of these together and then following it up with the mom's practice. That's always a lot of fun. Get the moms out there, get them moving around the bags, let them work through a few of our tackling stations, and then kind of let them break in and work with the individual coaches that their sons, are spending 2 hours of their days with every day. So, if my son was spending 2 hours a day with a person, I would, I'd want to have a pretty good sense of who that person is too. So, thank you to all the moms who came out, and they were great sports. I'm sure a few of them were probably a little sore on Sunday morning. And I think a lot of people probably ordered some pizza in Saturday night, but it's always great fun.
Yeah, and my apologies. I did not have it ready for the podcast, but there's a great picture of you leading the moms with the little football on the stick on your Twitter page or X. Go check it out. It's a great picture, and I think it just sums up the entire day.
Yeah, I've got that sent back to me in a few group chats over the weekend. So yeah, that's a fun one for sure. I'll put that one up.
Yeah, it's a great picture. And that night or the evening prior, you were at work, and it was for football fans an opportunity to see out of each eye. You're watching two different teams share a field at Festus for the Jamboree. Coach, I thought wanted to have you tell us a little bit about what you saw, what you liked, what you didn't like. What is the goal of this final prep before week one?
Yeah, the Festus Jamboree, there's a lot of jamborees out there, a lot of teams getting together, that last Friday, that last opportunity for a real dress rehearsal before the show this Friday, this week. And, Festus, a lot of quality teams there, Jackson, Farmington, Festus, Capital City made the trip this year, and Poplar Bluff. So, you have 6 quality football teams on a football field, all scrimmaging each other and giving us really good looks. Jamborees are jamborees, and as long as you take them for what they are, they can be very successful. We use it as a true dress rehearsal. We have a lot of guys dressing for varsity football games for the first time. So it's a perfect opportunity for us to go through, our after-school routine, have our walkthrough, talk about our expectations there. We went up to Detour, had our pregame meal, so some guys got to experience that for the first time. And, we're eating with about 15 more extra guys this time, so we kind of learned, hey, this is where we need to put them. We need a few more rolls. And really just work out any last kinks before the game next week. So now next week when we're doing it, we've been there before. We've gone through this routine, and we can focus in on Parkway West.
Yeah, great opportunity. I ran out of fingers and toes. I believe it was 10 plays or 12 plays-ish, offense and defense. During that time, we saw a lot of people rotating in and out, and you mentioned that. But what exactly would your coaches and your staff be looking for? Perhaps are there people that were maybe on that bubble that look at this as like training camp in the NFL that's about to wrap up? Is this an opportunity that for someone on that bubble to maybe step up and earn a spot to dress or more playing time?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, we were still evaluating starting spots going into Friday evening. And, we looked over the film this morning and, we had to make some final personnel decisions going into week one. So, there definitely is, a use for them. We are getting, that last opportunity at live reps. You get 12 plays on offense, 12 plays on defense. And, when it comes to the offense, you're kind of playing around with different things. We have a script, where, we plan on running these 12 plays no matter the situation, so, where you saw us run maybe a power or a sweep play and get 7-8 yards, we're probably not following that up with a screen play to the outside right after on a Friday night. We're following that up with a little bit more compliment or, hey, get ready the other way, so. In a sense of, are you moving the ball? You're not moving the ball, things like that. Defensively, we're working on still flying to the football. We're holding our leverage, doing our jobs. It's a great opportunity to see mistakes. I'm sure, Farmington, we did a great job stuffing their option, as we talked about on the podcast last week. But then in Farmington, all of our DBs, all of a sudden, they forgot how to backpedal. And I'm sure we all remember the bomb that Farmington threw over us. It's like, well, what happened? Well, at the snap of the football, every DB took 2 steps forward. And it's like, okay, well, we know that they know how to backpedal. They've worn a spot out. And there's about 5 lines on my practice field that are completely worn out from these guys backpedaling every day. That's something that, hey, we're going to make another huge point of emphasis. DBs, you need to backpedal on every snap. This is what we practice. This is what we do. Offensively, too, an opportunity to kind of get some of the jitters out. We jumped off sides one time. One thing I really liked seeing, at the moment, we got to learn from a mistake, learn from a penalty. We had a younger lineman to kind of come back on a play and kind of make a little bit of a crackback block, and the ref threw a flag. And it's like, I'm glad we made that mistake Friday instead of next Friday when it really matters and the touchdown gets called back. We kind of implemented it a few years ago. We called it the Rubel rule. Once you see number 15, once you see Cole Rubel in front of you, you don't need to block anybody anymore. Run up to him and meet him in the end zone. So that was a great opportunity for us to kind of reinforce that with our guys. Just different things like that, the little things that can occur on a Friday next week that we got to talk about this week. We had a couple guys coming off to the sideline, a little disgusted with their play or a little bummed out, and they didn't handle it very well. Well, we had an opportunity to address that. We talked about it a lot after the Jamboree. When you come to the sideline, you have to be coachable. This isn't about you. It's about the football team and us trying to fix mistakes. You come to the sideline pouting, you're not making it about second football. You're making it about yourself. And we don't have time for that. When we get to the sideline, we need to have the opportunity to coach you up and fix those mistakes. So, we got to talk about that a little bit. And, overall, I was very pleased. Our guys are getting off the ball. Still have things to work on the next 4 days, but I have no doubt we'll get there.
Well, it was certainly an exciting night, a great night for football. And, just being there in the crowd, the fans, really good turnout for the Jaguar faithful. So, very encouraging, and we need those same folks and more to make that trip up 141 to Parkway West.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the rosters that we made and passed out. Coach Baer thinking about y'all out there.
Yeah, it certainly helps when there's so many kids. I'm lucky I can remember my phone number, let alone a roster that size. But also last week, it was a great week for media coverage, and the program was featured into 2 different articles, one by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the other one by the Leader. And, just looking at it and just reading it, as an outsider, it seemed like the theme was almost identical in both of those articles, just talking about the success, how it's building, and, greater success is just around the corner. So I wanted to get your thoughts about the articles and, what this means for the program.
Yeah, we appreciate any and all media coverage that we're able to get for our boys and our football team. I love spreading the good word of second football and bragging on our boys and the work that they're putting in. We could start talking. With the STL Today article. The cat's out of the bag. Right now, we're the preseason number 9 ranked team in the area, large school, and that's really neat for our football program. It really is a testament for all the work that the guys before us have put in and where we are now as a team. Yeah, very important for our guys right now to not eat the cheese, right? Don't believe the hype, all right? Don't fall into the trap. Don't believe you're as good as you say they are. We got to keep working, and we have to keep executing. But rankings are rankings, and I'm sure you've all heard every college football coach, give every coach speak about it. And, my opinion is, hey, that's pretty neat. Parkway West doesn't care. Fox don't care what we're ranked. Those guys are practicing and they're ready to beat us. And it's very important for our guys to not eat the cheese, to not believe the hype, to lock in and focus and do their job so we can continue to win football games.
No, very good points. I take it we've never been ranked that high for preseason. Is that new territory?
Yeah, preseason. No, we've never made that poll. So it's like I said, it's really neat. It's the newspaper. It's awesome.
No, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. And
Yeah, and then with the leader article, the leader has done a fantastic job. They've given us a lot of opportunities to talk about and spread the good word of Seckman football and what we're doing, right here in Jefferson County. So I always appreciate talking to Russ. He does really good jobs on his articles, and this was another good one that got to highlight a few of our guys. I do want to kind of address a little kind of not necessarily controversy or anything like that. Just kind of a little bit of a paraphrase that was in the article. A little bit about maybe I said something about how far we've come since 2016, 2017, and that's not really something I like to talk about. I've been around Seckman football for 14 years, as a coach, 4 years as a player, so it's been a really long time. I've known 18 years worth of players for Seckman football. And, while some of those years we did not have the success, that we've had now, that does not mean that anybody on those teams never put in the work that our guys are putting in, didn't care as much as our kids care now. Those guys did. I knew those guys. They worked hard. Those 2016 teams, the 2017 team that won one game, those kids came to practice every day. They worked hard. Now they just didn't, experience the success that we're having right now, but that can just as easily be taken away from us if we lose our way. So I always have nothing but respect for anybody or any team that's ever come through here. So and I'm sure no one else read into it like that, but I read it and I'm like, that's not exactly what I meant when I said that. So I hope no one took that the wrong way. But yeah, I love the leader article and being in the Post-Dispatch. Winning brings expectations, and those are expectations our kids want to rise to. Beating Fox, winning a conference championship, taking care of Parkway West this week, number 1 on the list, and eventually, getting our program to that elusive district championship.
Yeah, we look forward to future write-ups and to have this kind of coverage this early in the season. That's great, and that leads us to week 1, and we go on the road. I guess last year we were fortunate to have a lot of home games. This year we're a little bit of the road warriors, but wanted to get your thoughts about week 1. Tell us, for folks that may be not familiar with Parkway West, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about their team and how we would match up against them.
Yeah, it's been a few years since we actually played Parkway West. We played Parkway West, and we played them in between us too. But when I was a senior at Seckman, we played Parkway West, and that's when Blaine Gabbert played for Parkway West, NFL quarterback, Mizzou quarterback. Let's just say he did pretty well that night too.
Yeah, it's a household name. I think
this will actually be my first trip back to Parkway West. I believe since that, for a Friday night game. I've been there for a JV game or two, but for a Friday night game, my first time back at Parkway West, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. They're a good team. When you look at the Suburban Conference, it goes the blue division, the orange division that we're in, and Parkway West is actually in the green division above us. All right, and then you have the red and the gold, and they're a good football team. They always have quality athletes. They're well coached. Coach Duncan's been there for a number of years and had a lot of success. And we don't expect any different here. They're going to be coached up. They're going to be ready to go. They got a pretty solid quarterback. He's pretty tall. He can sling it. So, if he's a guy that gets time, he's going to make us pay for it. So it's going to be important for us to get a solid pass rush and, force them to try to run the ball, which, then we have to try to match up well up front.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it. The game's at 7:00. We have information on our Facebook page, and I know it's going to be on all the social media channels at the high school. So we certainly look forward to the game. We look forward to our fans showing up and showing out and really packing those away stands. We travel well, and would love to see even more of the community out there at those games. So with that, Coach, wanted to ask you one other question about the week 1 matchup.
Yeah.
So not to say, well, how can I put this? It's always I guess we have, from what you're saying, we haven't played them recently.
Right.
is it harder when it's like that, or is it a little bit easier if it's like a Fox or someone that you play year after year? You kind of know those tendencies, and maybe they'll throw you a curveball. Just wanted to know what goes into game planning for you and your coaches when it's a situation where you really don't see them that much, or maybe don't have that much tape.
Yeah, honestly, so it's an advantage and a disadvantage. So, when you look at the defensive side of the ball for us, they're a spread offense. We see a lot of spread offenses, so you know that's good for us because we've already been working a lot of those formations and those motions. But in the same breath, these guys like to try to spread you out and run a couple different wacky formations. We don't really have a sense of their tendencies. And what their coaches like to do. Whereas, when you play a Fox or an Oakville every year or a Northwest, hey, we know this offensive coordinator likes to do this on third down. You don't have that. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that unfamiliarity that teams can use as an advantage on offense. And, for us, our offense is going to use that to an advantage. It's kind of one of those things. Our offense, it's safe to say they haven't played an offense like ours in the past couple of years since we're really, the only single wing football team in Missouri. So that's a huge advantage for us. The last 4 years, when we play our conference teams each year, they change their schemes up a little bit. And that requires us to kind of make some in-game adjustments and things like that when they stop us. So, for Parkway West, I'm sure their defensive coordinator feels the same way that our defensive coordinator does. Okay, well, how are we going to stop this? Maybe this will work. Well, we really don't know. Okay, how many looks do we need to try to stop it? So it's kind of an advantage and a disadvantage.
Yeah, and
depending on the side of the ball you're on.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I'm wondering, what would, I've always heard the expression maybe like football comes down to like 5 or 6 or maybe 7 plays, that the big plays a score. Do you see this as a defensive battle, or do you see it as a high scoring affair, or whatever happens on the field Friday night? I wanted to see if you had your thoughts.
No, I mean, look, football is a game of mistakes, and the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win. You're working with 15 to 18-year-old athletes. Mistakes are going to be made, and the team that can limit those mistakes, and execute on the other team's mistakes is going to win the game. And that's kind of really how we try to approach it, keeping things simple and things like that.
Well, we are so excited. We can't wait. Just talking to a lot of the parents during the dads and decals and the moms and everyone, we're just as excited probably as you and the boys and the staff to head out to the stadium and pack the place. So we certainly wish you good luck. Great success. And of course, we do have our social media channels. Coach, we're so close to 200. I mean, we're a small and growing channel, close to 200 Facebook followers. Would love to have everyone share this site, share the podcast. These podcasts are going to increase. They're now going to go weekly as we go through the season. You'll be able to share with us highlights, cut up more plays. So we would love to expand the reach of our channel. So please feel free to share this with your friends. And that leaves us again with final thoughts. Coach, I mean, this podcast, we're almost at the half-hour point again. We appreciate your time. We know that you're preparing, getting ready for Friday night, but wanted to give you the floor and give us your final thoughts.
Yeah, I know I kind of hit on it in my the end of our last podcast. I talked about it Saturday morning. I just put it in my email too. Let's have some fun. Let's enjoy ourselves. We're all about to jump on a 2,000-person roller coaster ride of emotion on a Friday night. And, the reality is there's ups and downs. The game gives you the highest of highs, and then it will repay you back with the lowest of lows. I mean, we've been there. So it's just important for us to be on that ride together and really just enjoy it. There are going to be issues that pop up throughout the season. Give me an opportunity to handle them. Let's handle them together with grace and compassion and respect, and just know that we're all in this together. So, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and let's try to win a few football games.
Sounds like a plan, Coach. You have our support, and the community is behind you, your staff, the players. can't wait for Friday night. Can't emphasize it enough. And again, just good luck. Go get them. And thank you so much for your time this evening. I know this is cutting into your time with the family and everything. So really do appreciate you taking time out to speak with us on the podcast tonight.
No problem, Carl. Have a good night. I'll see you Friday.
You as well. Take care.